August 27th, 2012. Aaron Hernandez secures a $40 million contract extension with the Patriots, including a $12.5 million signing bonus, widely celebrated as a future NFL cornerstone. But just 6 weeks earlier, outside a Boston nightclub, 2 men were murdered, and a silver SUV with Rhode Island plates linked Hernandez to the scene. Over the next 327 days, text messages, surveillance footage, and forensic evidence would dismantle the illusion of safety behind the league's wealthiest deals. How did a star athlete cross an irreversible line while the spotlight burned brightest? The New England Patriots announced the deal on August 27, 2012. Aaron Hernandez, age 22, had signed a 5-year contract extension worth up to $40 million. The terms included a $12.5 million signing bonus, delivered as one of the largest ever paid out to a tight end at the time. Of the total value, $16.4 million was fully guaranteed, a clear message from the franchise that Hernandez was not just a rising star, but a cornerstone for years to come. ESPN and major sports outlets covered the signing as a triumph for both player and team. The Patriots press release described Hernandez as an essential part of a new offensive era, pairing him with Rob Gronkowski to form what many called the most dangerous tight end duo in football. The contract itself reflected the team's confidence. There were no unusual performance clauses or character-based contingencies, just standard language and a payout structure that placed Hernandez among the highest paid at his position. Local and national media praised the move as a sign of stability and ambition. Fans celebrated, analysts forecasted championships, and the organization spotlighted Hernandez's journey from fourth-round draft pick to franchise centerpiece. On paper, the future seemed secure. 327 days from the moment Hernandez put pen to paper, his life and career would be upended by events no one in the Patriots front office could have imagined. On July 15, 2012, Daniel Abreu and Safiro Furtado were killed outside a nightclub in Boston's South End. The shooting happened just after midnight as patrons spilled onto Shawmut Avenue. Witnesses described a silver SUV with Rhode Island plates rolling up, a window lowering, and gunfire erupting into the crowd. Abreu, age 29, and Furtado, age 28, were both struck and killed instantly. 2 others were wounded but survived. Police arrived to find spent .38 caliber shell casings scattered near the curb and chaos in the street. Detectives quickly pulled surveillance footage from the nearby Cure Lounge. The grainy video captured a silver Nissan Pathfinder, distinctive for its tinted windows and out-of-state plates, circling the block before the attack. Investigators traced the plates to a Rhode Island rental registered to an address linked to Aaron Hernandez. The vehicle's presence at the scene became a critical lead, though no suspects were immediately named. The case file included statements from club staff and bystanders, many recalling a brief argument inside the club hours earlier. Some described a man matching Hernandez's build leaving with a group just before closing. In the weeks that followed, the double homicide faded from headlines, unsolved and overshadowed by other news. But the evidence, the SUV, the surveillance stills, the ballistic reports remained in police custody, waiting for a connection to surface. The deaths of Abreu and Furtado would resurface nearly a year later, as investigators began to notice a pattern linking vehicles, violence, and a rising football star. On June 17, 2013, the timeline of Odin Lloyd's final hours was reconstructed through a chain of digital records and surveillance footage. Cell phone logs show that Lloyd exchanged messages with Aaron Hernandez shortly after midnight. At 2:32 in the morning, Lloyd sent a text to his sister that said, "Did you see who I'm with?" Minutes later, a silver Nissan Altima with Rhode Island plates, registered to Hernandez, was captured on security cameras leaving his North Attleboro home. At 3:23 in the morning, the same vehicle appeared on footage entering an industrial park. Investigators matched the timestamp to a gap in Lloyd's phone activity. Forensic analysis placed Lloyd's phone in the vicinity, then silent. Surveillance from Hernandez's home at 3:29 in the morning showed him returning, accompanied by 2 associates. The footage revealed Hernandez holding what appeared to be a Glock pistol as he entered the house. Phone records indicated that Lloyd's device stopped transmitting data at 3:25 in the morning, consistent with the estimated time of death. Minutes later, Hernandez's own security system recorded him pacing through his living room, the pistol still in hand. Text logs from that morning captured brief exchanges between Hernandez and his associates, referencing their location and movements. Police later recovered spent shell casings at the scene, matched by ballistics to the type of weapon seen in the footage. The digital trail, texts, call logs, and synchronized surveillance created a minute-by-minute map of the hours leading to Lloyd's death. Each timestamp, each frame, tightened the case against Hernandez and set the stage for his arrest. On July 15, 2013, law enforcement arrived at Aaron Hernandez's North Attleboro home with an arrest warrant. Officers approached the front door just after sunrise, moving quickly and deliberately. Hernandez, still in shorts and a white t-shirt, was led out in handcuffs. News helicopters circled overhead, broadcasting the arrest live to millions. The booking process began at the local police station, where Hernandez's mugshot was taken and his fingerprints recorded. Prosecutors wasted no time. In a press statement, the Bristol County District Attorney's Office announced charges of first-degree murder and multiple weapons violations, citing a detailed affidavit that outlined the digital, physical, and forensic evidence gathered over the previous 4 weeks. The arrest affidavit described the coordinated effort between state police, local detectives, and crime scene analysts. Each piece of evidence, surveillance footage, ballistic matches, text records, was listed to establish probable cause. The timeline of Odin Lloyd's final night, reconstructed from phone logs and home security video, was now at the heart of the legal case. The arrest marked the public's first glimpse of the full scale of the investigation. For the Patriots organization and the NFL, the image of their former star in handcuffs was a stunning reversal from the contract celebration less than a year before. The legal process had begun, shifting the story from suspicion and speculation to formal charges and courtroom proceedings. The next chapter would move beyond the facts of the case and into questions about Hernandez's mind and body, and what might have driven a young athlete to such extremes. Boston University CTE Center released its findings in September 2017. Aaron Hernandez's brain showed stage 3 chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a diagnosis rarely seen in anyone under 46 years old. Dr. Ann McKee, the lead neuropathologist, described widespread tau protein deposits in the frontal lobes and deep brain structures, with severe shrinkage and damage to areas responsible for impulse control, judgment, and emotional regulation. The ventricles were enlarged, the fornix had atrophied, and the septum pellucidum was perforated. These patterns were consistent with advanced CTE. According to Dr. McKee, the severity of Hernandez's brain disease at age 27 was unprecedented in the center's research. While chronic traumatic encephalopathy is linked in clinical studies to aggression, impulsivity, and memory loss, the team made clear that their findings could not explain or excuse specific acts. The diagnosis raised urgent questions about football, brain trauma, and the limits of medical understanding. On April 19, 2017, Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his cell at the Souza Baranowski Correctional Center. The official report from the Massachusetts Department of Corrections described a scene with the door jammed shut and shampoo spread across the floor. A Bible lay open to John 3:16, and the same verse was written in red ink on his forehead. Hernandez left notes addressed to his fiancée and daughter, and authorities found no drugs in his system. The state police investigation ruled his death a suicide by hanging. 5 days earlier, he had been acquitted of double homicide charges, but remained convicted for the murder of Odin Lloyd. That conviction was vacated in May 2017, as Massachusetts law required for any conviction under appeal at the time of death. The families of Odin Lloyd, Daniel Abreu, and Safiro Furtado released statements expressing renewed grief and frustration, while Hernandez's legal team called for further inquiry. The case closed with more questions than answers, leaving a legacy of pain and confusion for everyone involved. Today, the $40 million contract and the 327-day spiral from NFL promised a conviction force a hard look at football's hidden costs. With stage 3 CTE found in Hernandez's brain at 27, the line between celebrated athlete and criminal suspect remains blurred, and the questions will not fade.